Alrighty, my friends, we have the newest cold plunge in front of us here. Let's get this out of the box, put it together. I actually am going to install a chiller I already have with this. That's an added on feature. You don't need it if you're going to use ice and cold water, but I already have the chiller, so I will connect that. Let's get it out and put it together. Okay, so everything is packed up excellently, looking fantastic. Little tip for you here. Be careful slicing it with an X-Acto blade because you do have the cold plunge side right here facing up. So just be careful opening up the box with a razor blade. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's folded out now. Again, I keep stating it, but very well packaged. The cover was actually wrapped up inside, and they actually took the time to wrap up every single buckle as well for protection. Okay, we got a lot of pieces here. We got an inflatable pump. We got a cover for it. We got a bag for it. We got some plumber's tape and some attachments here. Let's go ahead and set this up with our user manual right here. Okay, we have our really nice pump here, by the way. It has a PSI gauge right on the top. Simply unscrew your port right here. This actually twists on, really simple right here. So that pushes down, pushes in, and then you twist it to lock it into place, and then go ahead and pump it up here. We're gonna do that to the actual cold plunge, and then we're gonna come over here and do that to the cover. Okay, and then it just springs to life, nice and firm. Don't overdo it. We have our latches right here for the cover. Now it's time to inflate the cover here. And let me just show you real quickly here. This is our water in for our chiller, but again, you don't have to have a chiller if you don't have one, and water out. So what it does, water in goes up top because grit and debris float down to the bottom if you get in with some stuff on your feet or whatever. And then it goes through to my filter and chiller. Put back your inflatable cover right there. Really, really digging the size of this. And on this side is your nice big logo. And that is very, very nice. I'm gonna show you my old setup here in just a little bit here. But what I like about this is you can get in it and you can extend your legs all the way forward while you slouch down. Rest your neck up against this. Because I've seen a lot of cold plunges, people don't get in far enough or they're not large enough and you're not able to get like your shoulders. People literally just go up to their chest and I'm like, well, what about your shoulders? What about your neck? You obviously don't want to like go underneath. You don't want to freeze your CPU, which is your head. All right, let's continue on. And ladies and gentlemen, excellent news. My older chiller, I can use all of the parts that were attached to my old cold plunge right here. And I will talk about this one in just a second here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull off all my accessories. And this one was nice. I'm gonna be using the chiller, of course. But the problem about this one, you've probably seen these online already, is they're small cylinders. So I actually have to get in there and crouch down like a catcher. It's not like uncomfortable. I'm only in there for 5 minutes with 48, 49 degree water. And the reason I have it on pallets is because of my filter. I'll explain that in just a little bit. But I like this one. I'm gonna get rid of the pallets. I'm not gonna have to crouch down. I'm gonna be able to sit down at the bottom, relax. You can put your arms up over the edges if you really want to. Mount your television, watch some YouTube videos as you're cold plunging. Now I will be using the plumber's tape here, but again, so what's gonna happen here is I'll walk you through this just in here in a little bit here. So try to remove all of the plumber's tape from the old one if you can. That one's really stuck on there. I think it's gonna be totally fine. I'm gonna rewrap it with plumber's tape and I'm gonna insert these in here, tightening them down for my quick releases that I do have here. Again, all my old components are gonna be just plug and play. Absolutely incredible. So now that I know that I can do that, I need to remove the pallets. I need to get my bucket in there and remove all the water, the pallets. We're gonna clean the area up and we're gonna get it dialed in. Now, if you are not gonna use a chiller, then they provide the appropriate little plugs here. There's gaskets, washers. There's washers on one side of these already. And then you put on your caps that have the little O-ring washers inside there. Again, plumber's tape right here. So if you don't use a chiller, then you would literally screw this in and then screw on your cap like that there to plug up the water holes so no water flows in and out if you do not use a chiller and you're using ice. Alrighty, and if you are wondering when you are changing the water, if you don't have a filter or don't have a good filter, let me show you what you do here. So you gotta plug up the inner holes before you do detach any of the outer hoses if you are using a chiller because there's no quick release or quick shut-off valves on the exterior portion. So again, just use these, put one on the bottom, put one on the top, so no water can go out. But typically what I do when I wash it is I take a bucket, drain it. If it's outside, it's so much easier, but I take a bucket, I drain it, I bring it out on the porch, I clean it with soap and water. And before I do fill this up, I am gonna lightly put a little bit of natural cleaner on a rag and kind of wipe out the interior portion a little bit. I should have probably washed it before, but that's okay if you forget. Just do what I'm gonna do. All right, so my chiller's hooked up. My filter's on its side, but it still will work fine. With such a large filter like that, that's why I had the pallets, but I don't really want to have pallets in here anymore. So laying it on the side is going to be totally fine. If you are hooking up your chiller and if you are hooking up your pump, make sure the pump is on the bottom before the filter so it can suck the right direction, go into the filter, out of the filter, into the chiller, out of the chiller, and up back in your cold plunge. We're going to read the directions to see how high, what is the max line you need to do it. I think it said something like 6 inches, but again, it's going to fill back up here. So I'm going to probably fill it up maybe right above the line or so. I'm only 150. I don't want this to splash out. So I'm going to read the directions, but I'm going to put it just above the line right here, and I'll be back with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good news is my hose is not frozen. It was frozen several days ago, and last night was pretty cold. So I'm filling it up. Now, if you're going to be doing it indoors and you have an expandable hose, do be careful, because sometimes what happens is the pressure with expandable hoses decreases and then the hose can actually pull out if you have it like this. So do be careful, keep your eye on it. This is going to take a little bit of time to fill up, and I am looking forward. Now, I already cold plunged earlier today, so I'm not going to cold plunge till tomorrow. And well, this is filling up. Let me just walk you through kind of my routine. So I set the chiller to 48, 49 degrees. Automatically refrigerates just like a refrigerator. If it drops down below that, or above that, I should say, and then it kicks on just like a refrigerator. So what I do is I jump in for 5 minutes. So actually I tell my Amazon device to set a timer for 5 minutes and 5 seconds. 5 seconds to get in, a couple deep breaths, I jump in, get that shock, 48, 49 degrees. And honestly, there's scientific proof, or like there's no more proof to have it too cold. So that's why I do it for 48, 49 degrees. And so what I do is I do it for 5 minutes all the way up to my jawline to get my neck as well. And then right after, I do what Joe Rogan does, and I do 5 sets of 20, 40, 60, 80. 5 sets of 20 squats, 20 push-ups each set. So 100 squats, 100 push-ups, 5 sets to warm my body back up. So, you know, obviously I jump in with board shorts, I dry off, I take off my board shorts, put on my clothes, immediately go into 5 sets, 20 push-ups, 20 squats each set, 100, 100. That warms my body up, and then I immediately get into a workout. Absolutely phenomenal, and that has much added benefits than having to do a cold plunge after you work out. So try it and see if it works for you. It really works for me. It gives me great energy and warm your body back up with those squats and push-ups. 5 sets once again. All right, this is going to take a little bit of time to fill up. Like I mentioned, we're sitting on about maybe 8% filled up already. So let's let that run for a little bit. And if you were asking the question, this is the unremodeled portion of my house. So do forgive kind of the carpet and kind of a little cutout portion of the carpet right there as well. So anyway, ignore that if you were wondering. And in this little cylinder here, they do give you this little like repair tool, a couple big patches here. And this was inside of the pump bag, a little kind of a O-ring, I guess, for the pump bag, but go ahead and keep that on hand. And once again, they do give you a portable carrying bag and a hook strap. After it is deflated, you fold it up, strap it with a hook. That's how it came, and then put it in your bag for portability. If you were going on vacation, road trip, put that in your van for van life. Okay, and directions are stating the top ring, which is right here, it ends right here, 6 inches below. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. I'm gonna grab a tape measure, but somewhere right around that general area, just a little bit higher than that. Alrighty, now since it is still winter, the water is actually pretty cold. So the chiller is on, but it's already on 49 degrees. The water actually probably was chillier than that coming out of the spigot. Anyway, I've cleaned my top as well. We're gonna go ahead and get it in position, and we're gonna go ahead and latch it down here as we can see. Alrighty, top is on, looking fantastic. We got our logo facing this way. 4 straps, 2 on each side, little pull down tab right here. And obviously that's gonna be moved. That's a giveaway. Really nice and secure as well. You definitely don't want to set anything on top of that, but nice and firm, not wobbly bobbly. We're looking absolutely fantastic. So sweet. Again, now the only thing I'm probably going to have to do is I'm getting good flow, but not as good flow as I want to. So I think I'm actually going to have to get an extension for my filter, because this filter didn't come with the original unit, the original chiller. So I'm going to have to get something like this, like another quick release hose here, so I can stand that upright and then go from the pump up into the filter instead of having the filter on the side. Now, if I try to rotate the filter, this would be all crinkety crankety, and that would like really pitch it up, and I don't think that's good for business. So I need to get a shorter-ish. These hoses are way too long, but I mean, worst case scenario, if that was the only thing like Amazon had available, then you got to get it. But regardless, I'm going to put that filter up, and I have released the pressure valve if you are wondering. And I'm getting, you know, decent flow, but it's not as flowy as it should be. And it might be too laying on its side, but it's still filtering, still working, still chilling. All right, be back with you tomorrow for the plunge. And obviously check for leaks. Make sure there is nothing leaking. I do have a bucket underneath here because I did have to switch over a couple valves. I'm actually using one of the provided extensions, and then my quick release valves on top of that. So I can remove this bucket now. I've already checked out down by the pump and filter. Everything is looking good. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now I just need to hang a TV right there. I do have a 65-inch TV right there. Maybe I can prop that up somehow and watch some YouTube as I'm plunging away. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, 48 degrees. Let's jump on in. So what I typically do is I like to go ahead and set my Amazon timer right before I'm about to jump in. So I take off my sandals, I tell her to set the alarm for 5 minutes, 5 seconds, and then I breathe deep right before I do get in. Your front foot goes in, your back foot goes in. Breathe deep one more time and just go under quickly. Don't try to go slow. And we're going to go all the way up to, once again, my jawline. I do have a beanie on with my microphone hooked to my beanie so I can kind of talk you through the initial impressions. I do have my old mat down right below right here from the old cold plunge. Again, 48 degrees. All right, I'm going to take off my sandals and let's give this a go. It's that right there. Ah, yeah. Woo! That feels good right there, baby. All right. My butt's actually not touching, but I'm comfortable. I'm stretched out, and it's just a little different than my previous one, but I have so much more room in here. I don't want to go too low because I don't want to splash my beanie, but it feels really, really good. I think I might need to lower my butt a little bit, but I'm actually very comfortable. Again, it's not touching the bottom. I'm going to try to go down a little bit, and that initial reaction was almost better than my previous cold plunge. Maybe I'm being distracted by talking on camera. I'm going to try to slink down a little bit more. I want to get right on my jawline. There we go. Sometimes if you sleep, you get a little crick in your neck. There we go. So now I'm right on my kind of chin jawline. You don't want to go under with your head because you don't want to freeze your CPU. And there is a lot of room in here. You could literally have 2 people in here if you really wanted to. One facing that direction, one facing this direction. This is a lot more spacious than my previous one. I'm 150 pounds, and I actually did it like 5 inches below this little rim right over here, if you can see it in the camera. But I think that I could have actually gone a little bit lower. Obviously, you kind of want it to go over that fill hole where it kind of like pumps back in. But let me see if I can sit my butt. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you just gotta, you know, because I'm trying to like float up. So now my butt is on the very bottom. And forgive me if I start chattering a little bit. Sometimes you kind of have to just zone in a little bit. But love how big this thing is. I'm only 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. And with all the way hunkered down, My knees are slightly bent, but once again, I like how big this thing is, where I can relax, my head is on the back, I don't have to crouch, I got plenty of room for my arms to spread out. And some of these cold plunges I've seen, like their knees are like above the waterline, their shoulders like I mentioned, and I'm like, what's the point of like cold plunging your entire shoulders? You know, you gotta get your neck in there as well. So anyway, first initial reactions, really liking the size. Cold water's cold water. Feels super firm up against my head, not wobbly bobbly. The chiller's working great, no leaks. And the best thing to do is just concentrate on your breathing. Again, I really like the size of it. I know I keep saying that. Now I just need to put a TV up on that wall for my YouTube videos. Now, because of the size of the walls going up, it's not really like a bathtub. I mean, I could put my arms up on the edges if I wanted to, but you want to dunk your whole entire body, your feet and everything. It's really well made. Definitely a lot more higher in the quality of the materials made than my previous one. Okay, that's my timer. All right, just stand on up. Woo! Feeling good, baby. And then of course, just put your top back on, latch it shut. Then we're gonna go ahead and get in my clothes. We're gonna warm my body back up with my sets of squats and push-ups, and then get into a very nice workout right after that. Absolutely beautiful. Solid quality. Well, I'm gonna go after it and get after it tomorrow once again. That's a big thumbs up in my book. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to go get warm and change, but again, top link in the description box below will be this exact same cold plunge where you guys can read more about it and pick it up yourself. I will also link below this the chiller and tubing and everything, but you will have to get an upgraded filter. I'll go ahead and link the filter as well in the description box below. Overall, very nicely made. Love the space. If you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button on the way out, helps the channel. Also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, DIY house projects, tech review videos, and more. Once again, top link in the description box below. This cold plunge as well as the chiller and filter. We'll see you on the next video. My name's Chris.